Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really relevant for so many people, building a blended family.
Yeah, it's
Think
huge.
about it, nearly 75% of the 1.2 million Americans who divorce each year, they remarry. They create these completely new family designs.
That's a massive number, a huge part of society navigating some, really complex stuff.
It really is. And it often feels incredibly challenging, right? Even though it's common.
Absolutely. Which is why our source for this deep dive is so valuable. We're looking at Mashonda Tifrere's book, Blend, The Secret to Co-Parenting and Creating a Balanced Family. She really tackles the challenges head on.
And what's cool about this book, it's not just her story. You get other perspectives, too.
Right, like Alicia Keys wrote the foreword.
Yeah, and Kasim Dean Swizz Beatz, he contributed a letter from a father. Plus, you hear from therapists, other parents, people who've lived it.
So our mission here is to really unpack how this family, worked through all the difficulties after divorce. What principles did they figure out?
And how did they create this, loving, balanced space where everyone, especially the kids, really comes out okay, even better than okay?
Exactly. Where the kids win.
We're going to trace Mashonda's own journey. It starts in a pretty raw place, doesn't it? Public, painful.
Yeah. And then moves towards healing, towards really intentional co-parenting. It's quite the arc.
Okay, so let's start there with that personal journey she describes.
Yeah, she really doesn't hold back.
No, she lays it all out. That initial divorce experience, it sounds just devastating.
Feeling like a failure, the insecurity.
And dealing with the public labels. Bitter ex, baby mama. So harsh.
And the pain of losing the life she thought she had.
Yeah, the life she'd claimed as hers. There's that image she shares, wearing all black to court.
Like it was a funeral.
Exactly. A funeral for the marriage, for that whole vision of her life. It's powerful.
It really paints a picture of grief, right?
Yeah.
But even in that pain, she talks about getting some crucial advice, lessons from others.
Oh, yeah, the story about Granny Sandra, Swizz's grandmother.
Yes. Granny Sandra, who'd been through her own divorce years before, gave her this incredible advice about support systems.
It was so key. She told Mashonda, basically, your friends, your family, they should never speak badly about your ex or the situation.
Their only job is to support you, your feelings, your healing, moving forward.
That focus on positive energy from the outside, she says it was foundational.
Absolutely.
Right.
And sometimes, the biggest push for change comes from unexpected places, like from the kids.
Right. She talks about her son's sadness, simple things like missing the pool table that wasn't there anymore.
Or just asking those direct questions kids ask, why are things different? That was a wake-up call for her.
Kids see everything, don't they?
They really do. They're like emotional barometers.
And her son, Kasim, apparently his nickname is King of Common Sense.
That.
Because he's just so observant. His questions weren't just random. They really forced her to face what was happening.
And that led to a really important decision, protecting his emotional space, his energy.
How did she do that?
Well, she made a conscious choice to process her own pain, the crying, the frustration away from him.
Okay. So not letting him see all of it.
Right. She even started praying or centering herself before she was around him because she remembered
child.
exactly how her parents' conflict had affected her. She didn't want to repeat that cycle for her son.
That self-awareness is huge, protecting their world. Okay, so another big step she took, therapy.
Yes, and she talks about it so normally, which is great. She basically says, look, if you pay a stylist to look good.
Why not pay a mind expert to feel good?
Exactly. Challenging that stigma head on.
Which can be really strong in some communities, right?
Definitely. She talks about overcoming that resistance and how working with therapists like Dr. Jeffrey Gardere and Terry Williams gave her a totally different perspective.
Like on the trauma she'd experienced.
Yeah, and just helped her through the healing, having someone objective to trust and talk to.
It sounds like rebuilding her inner world was like the first essential step. She calls separation an earthquake.
That's a good way to put it. Everything's shaken up.
So the first thing is just regaining composure, finding some peace in the middle of the chaos, accepting the new normal.
Which is so much easier said than done.
Totally. And for her, it meant actively stepping away from negative people, negative situations.
Using simple tools, too, like breathing, exercise.
And really committing to that deeper healing work, the stuff you have to do before you can even think about co-parenting effectively.
And a huge piece of that work, letting go.
Letting go of what specifically?
Well, self-pity, for one, but also actively looking for the lessons in the sadness, not just wallowing.
Okay. Finding meaning in it.
Yeah. And she has this insight about expectations being illusions,
Yeah.
trying to force life to fit your perfect picture. That just creates conflict.
So pure love means letting life unfold more organically.
That's what she suggests,
Yeah.
allowing things to develop without trying to control every single outcome.
Wow, that's tough when everything feels out of control. Another big part of her healing was reclaiming her identity, right?
Oh.
And self-sufficiency.
Yes. She wasn't going to be just the estranged wife
Mm.
or the baby mama.
She actively shed those labels.
She talks about stepping into grown woman handle your business land,
Mm.
taking charge of her finances, her daily life.
Was that scary for her?
She says it was, initially, doing it all alone, but ultimately, really liberating, empowering.
And that made her realize how important it is for women, especially moms, to have their own thing.
Absolutely. To be self-sufficient, to invest in themselves, education, career, dreams, whatever it is.
It's about taking back your power, your agency.
Right. And she describes reaching this point of peace where her perspective just broadened, like an eagle flying high above.
Seeing things differently.
Yeah, seeing past events not as just failures, but as lessons, things she learned from.
And this is where that huge shift happens in how she views her ex, Kasim,
It's incredible. She stopped seeing him as the enemy.
and starts seeing him as a blessing.
A blessing. Because he gave her their son. That level of reframing, finding the good despite all the pain, that's a major turning point.
And that connects directly to letting go of blame.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A conscious choice. No more blaming him. No more blaming Alicia, his new partner.
Because blame just drags you down.
She says it devolves the spirit. And ultimately, realizing that only you have the power to make yourself happy or miserable, that shift has to happen inside.
That's incredibly powerful. Okay, so all this deep self-work, it sets the stage for why blending matters so much.
Exactly. The book defines blending as, and I'm quoting here, a brave yet humbling form of living outside your own comfort zone for a bigger cause, your child.
For the child, that's the core.
It's fundamentally for them. When blending works, kids thrive emotionally. They feel peace, confidence, security.
And they can actually enjoy love from everyone without feeling guilty.
Yes, without feeling torn or like they're betraying one parent by liking the other parent's partner. That's the goal.
Okay, but what happens when it doesn't work? When there's still conflict?
Well, the consequences are pretty severe. The book really spells out the negative impacts on kids. They just soak up all that negativity. And it can manifest later as anger issues, self-destructive behavior.
Fear of commitment, trouble trusting people.
Yeah, all of that. Chronic worry, even underachieving as adults.
Yeah.
They cite reports something like 41% of adults from those high-conflict homes struggle later on.
Wow, 41%. That's chilling. It really drives home the damage when parents, badmouth each other or create drama around the kids.
Totally. Which is why the book stresses talking to your kids about the separation.
Yeah.
Even though it's hard. Even though you feel like a failure.
Because ignoring their questions doesn't help.
No, it just makes things more confusing, more anxious for them. Sophia Chang makes a great point in the book. Kids are so intuitive.
You can never fool your kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They feel the tension, the unspoken stuff. And Michael Austen asks that really hard question.
Is that really the model of love that you want for your children?
Right. It forces you to look beyond your own hurt and think about their future relationships.
And that thing about saying, I'm okay, when you're clearly not okay.
Yeah, that just teaches them not to trust what they see and feel, their own instincts.
So what's the alternative?
The book mentions Dr. Siegel's idea of reflective dialogue. Basically, talking with them maybe later when things are calm to help them make sense of it.
Even explaining adult meltdowns.
Yeah, explaining that it was about the adults' feelings, not their fault, helping them process it.
Which ties into understanding their perspective, right? Michelle Seelinger shares that story about her daughters.
Oh, their devastation realizing their family was going to be different.
Yeah. And Adam remembering feeling embarrassed and anxious at just 5 years old. Kids feel so powerless when their whole picture of normal just shatters.
They really do. Which leads to this interesting idea from Dr. Shefali.
About giving them back some control.
Exactly. Since they can't control the big stuff, the separations find other areas where you can give them more autonomy, more choices.
Like Michelle Seelinger letting her daughters have input on the visitation schedule.
Right. It helps restore that sense of agency. But the book notes that requires parents to have cooled egos.
Meaning putting your own stuff aside for the kids' need for control.
Precisely. And this isn't a one-and-done thing. Blending is ongoing.
Constant check-ins.
Yeah. Dr. Erica Reicher advises that. Watch them as they grow. Are they still happy going back and forth? Are they complaining about stomach aches,
Keep
headaches?
little signs that something might be wrong.
Could be. Physical signs of stress you need to pay attention to.
Makes sense. It's a continuous conversation. Okay, let's shift to the practical side. How do you actually build the bridges? They talk about the parent contract.
Right. And this isn't like a legal thing. It's a guiding principle.
Okay, what's the core idea?
Unconditional, non-judgmental, everlasting love for the child. Period.
And seeing your ex not as an ex, but as a partner.
A partner in parenting.
Really.
Respecting them as the other half of your child's DNA. You let go of the romantic stuff, obviously, but you acknowledge that deeper, permanent connection through your child.
And they started putting this into action with small things. Right, even when it felt fake.
Totally, like involving their son in picking out birthday gifts, Christmas gifts for the other parent.
She admits they faked the funk seamlessly for many years until it was sincere.
Yeah, that consistency, doing the actions even when the feelings weren't there, eventually shifted the whole energy.
There's that story about Swizz taking Kasim to Cipriani's for her birthday.
Oh, that's such a powerful one. He takes their son, leaves his credit card, tells her order whatever you want.
But it wasn't just about being nice to her.
No, he framed it for their son. He said they were creating a memory for Kasim, actively downloading love and compassion by showing him positive interaction between his parents.
Wow, that's really modeling it. Okay, so that's step one, the parent contract. Step two was interacting positively. What was step three?
Building a relationship with the bonus parent, in this case, Alicia Keys.
Which the book says is pretty unusual, culturally speaking. They call them golden girls.
Yeah, because that positive bond between the biological mom and the bonus mom is rare, but so valuable.
They admit it was awkward at first, though.
Oh, definitely. Inevitable awkwardness, they call it. But they say pushing through that is key, because that relationship sets the tone for both houses. It directly impacts the child's stability.
There's that whole section on the divine feminine.
Right, talking about the power when women collaborate, unite for the kids. Mashonda draws on her own upbringing, being raised by women.
And reframing it not as competition, but co-creation.
Exactly. Co-creating a positive future for the children. That photo in the book, Mashonda, Alicia, Kasim, Egypt, it really captures that unity.
So who makes the first move in building that bridge? Does it matter?
The book suggests either woman can, but the crucial first step is internal. Looking at yourself. Are you ready?
Dealing with your own stuff first. Misa Halton's quote about the chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, unresolved issues creating problems that aren't even there. You got to clear your own baggage before you can build anything healthy.
And understanding triggers is important too, right? For both moms.
Definitely. Like the biological mom feeling overlooked or the bonus mom feeling left out of that natural parent-child bond.
Things like feeling disrespected, not included, that widens the gap.
Right. And the antidote the book proposes, empathy and gratitude.
Empathy. Stepping into their shoes.
Exactly. It's the opposite of ego. Mashonda talks about that first dinner with Alicia and Kasim, feeling that emptiness, that loss.
But consciously shifting her focus.
Yeah, remembering why she was there. For her son. It connects back to her grandmother's advice way back when she met Swizz's older son.
If you love Swizz, you must love his child.
Right. Kids aren't property. They deserve selfless, egoless love from everyone. There's another story about Taharka Patterson meeting his stepmom, Christine, really awkwardly.
Because his dad hadn't prepared him, hadn't fostered that empathy.
Exactly. Shows what happens when that groundwork isn't laid.
Okay, so empathy is one part. The other is gratitude.
Yes, especially between the two moms. Misa Halton's perspective here is so powerful.
Instead of seeing the bonus mom as a threat.
Be thankful. Thankful that another woman chooses to love and care for your child. Because, as Misa says, women do not have to do it.
That's a huge shift. Gratitude helps quiet the ego.
Totally. Makes space for peace, for happiness. Small things help to build it too. Mashonda giving Alicia a book, Alicia sending flowers, building that connection.
And Misa also said something about reflecting on your own energy.
Yeah, if you keep feeling negativity around your child's time with the other parent, maybe look inward first. You get back what you put out.
Interesting. Okay, so they use this image of blending, creating a window between the two homes.
Right. Not an opaque wall. A window, so you have visibility. You're involved. You can see what's happening in the child's experience over there.
You're not shut out.
Exactly. And that mindset can even affect things like schedules.
like maybe rigid schedules aren't always needed. Cherie's experience.
Yeah, her son Trey visited his dad whenever he wanted, no strict schedule getting in the way.
Yeah.
Which is different from how Mashonda initially felt, that emptiness when Kasim left.
But they reframe that time apart too, don't they?
Yes. It's not just loss, it's a gift. Me time for the parent.
Time to rest, recharge, pursue your own goals.
Right, show up as a gorgeous, thriving woman, not just a stressed-out mom, which ultimately makes you better when you are with your child.
Makes total sense. Okay, moving into the next part. Emphasizing that blending isn't like a destination you arrive at.
No, it's an ongoing project, a lifestyle, a constant work in progress.
And the divine blueprint is central to that ongoing work.
Yes, those 5 core principles: love, understanding, patience, compassionate communication, and boundaries.
And they all work together. None is more important.
Exactly. They feed into each other. They filter all the interactions.
What about extended family? Getting grandparents or aunts and uncles on board, that can be tough.
Yeah, especially if they're holding on to old resentments. The book's advice is pretty practical. Focus on the core unit, the co-parents and the child.
It isn't for everyone to witness or judge.
Right. Trust that if you lead by example, the others will eventually come around. Or they won't, but your focus stays tight.
It also talks about adjusting expectations, especially for moms. Cherie's quote.
Nobody is going to measure up to my standards of loving my son. I already know that. That's wise.
Accepting that others will love your child well, but differently.
Yes, and challenging that cultural default that mom is automatically better.
And respecting boundaries is huge, like
I know.
no house inspections.
Yeah, Emma Johnson's anecdote about the mom wanting to inspect the ex's new place. The book frames that kind of thing. Or rigid rules about meeting new partners as attempts at control. Disrespectful of boundaries.
Unless there's a real concern about safety, of course.
Obviously, that's different.
Yeah.
But generally, it's about trusting the other parent's space.
Communication and consensus seem like the tools to navigate all this. There's that example with scheduling.
Where Swizz suggested Mashonda talk directly to Alicia.
Yeah. And her first reaction was, ego, why isn't he handling this?
But then she did that quick self-check. Is this about my son or my feelings?
And reframed it. Realized he was suggesting a practical solution for their son's sake.
That internal pivot is everything, which leads to one of the most concrete strategies.
Yeah.
Family meetings.
Regular meetings, like every 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, adapted from Amy McCready's work, involving co-parents, kids who are old enough.
And the purpose is intentional. Reviewing calendars, making big decisions together. Holidays, vacations, pets.
And having a set time to resolve conflicts constructively. They share their specific rules for these meetings.
Like meeting somewhere neutral, starting with positives.
Listening to everyone, making sure people feel safe and valued, watching the tone.
Never leaving upset, focusing on the child, opening, closing with intention or prayer.
And the key is making them regular. Not just when there's a fire to put out. Builds consistency. Creates that safe space for kids to speak up.
And they aim for consensus in these meetings, not just majority rules. Why is that important?
Because consensus means everyone gets an outcome they can genuinely live with, even if it wasn't their first choice. It builds stability, support, less resentment.
So they use it for holidays, birthdays, vacations, trying to create that feeling of an open invitation across homes.
Exactly. It fosters that unity.
Okay, what about dating after divorce? Introducing new partners, that's tricky territory.
Very. The book emphasizes the person dating needs to be healed first. Conscious. The ideal relationship starts with my relationship to myself.
So doing your own work first.
Absolutely. And then looking for a partner who's also done some self-work. Someone with integrity, patience, kindness.
And crucially, someone not threatened by the blend. Someone open to communicating with the co-parents.
Yes. Malik Yoba's approach of discussing baggage early is mentioned as a way to gauge that.
They also mentioned dating someone without kids can sometimes be harder.
Yeah, because they might not fully get that intense drive to prioritize the child's emotional well-being above everything else.
Makes sense. Mashonda talks about introducing her first serious boyfriend.
And being really clear up front about the family dynamic. Basically, you need to be part of this blend, setting that expectation.
Understanding the child's experience through all this seems key. The book mentions Adlerian psychology, family constellation.
Right. The idea that kids need a sense of power or control and a sense of belonging within their family structure, their constellation.
And divorce just throws that all up in the air. They feel powerless, confused about where they fit in these two new constellations.
Exactly. So the goal isn't to merge the two homes into one, but to create a strong overlap, a nucleus, where the child feels anchored.
Secure, connected, belonging in both worlds, even though the rules might be different in each house.
Right. Maintaining the integrity of each home, but ensuring the child feels stable within that larger structure.
And stability comes back to consistency, right? One of Dr. Reicher's ABCs.
Acceptance, boundaries, and consistency. Yes, consistency is vital for rebuilding trust, giving kids predictability when everything else has changed.
The book offers some practical connection tools too. Parent buttons or mind, body, soul time.
Yeah, MBST from Amy McCready. It's simple but powerful.
Just 10, 15 minutes a day, one-on-one.
Undivided attention. Child chooses the activity. No interruptions. Just focused connection.
And you can do it remotely too. Phone, video call.
Absolutely. And labeling it mommy and son time, man-to-man time, reinforces how important that connection is to the child.
Another practical thing, chores. Family contributions in both homes.
Yeah, it's not about punishment. It's about defining their role, boosting belonging, building skills.
And preventing that, well, I don't have to do that at dad's kind of thing.
Exactly. Keeps them from pitting parents against each other. Simple stuff, laundry here, dog care there, and teaching responsibility for their own stuff, like packing their bag, texting what needs to come back, reduces friction.
But challenges still come up, right? It's not always smooth sailing. They talk about Kasim at age 11.
Yeah, feeling stretched between two homes, feeling like he got less attention at his dad's place than his younger brothers.
How did they handle that?
Open conversation, talking honestly with Kasim, Swizz talking privately with Egypt to help him understand. Just consistent check-ins.
And Kasim learned to manage those feelings and his sibling relationships.
Yeah, it empowered him, which leads to another big principle: sibling bonds.
No, half-siblings.
Right. They made a conscious choice not to use that term, actively fostering closeness between siblings from different parents.
Cherie and Misa Heilton talk about this too. Keeping adult stuff away, making sure everyone feels included.
Yes, and the result is these really deep, supportive sibling relationships. It also means showing care for stepkids, celebrating their wins like they're your own. The photos of Kasim with Egypt and Genesis really show that bond.
So wrapping up the core ideas. Blending is real life. It's got joy, but it's work.
Constant work. And the biggest piece of work is managing your ego. Putting feelings aside for the child. Michelle Seelinger talking about fighting her own reactivity. That's real.
It's a tremendous challenge, the book says, requires self-control.
For sure. And finally, they tackled the really tough situation. What if the other side isn't willing to blend?
What if the other parent or the new partner just won't engage?
The advice is clear. Focus on what you can control. Yourself and your child. Be resilient. Tighten up your superhero cape.
Compartmentalize. Don't react to everything.
Exactly. Choose your battles. Check your own feelings first before you respond. And in those cases, maybe get a mediator for the big decisions.
But always, always protect the child's energy, their heart.
That's the bottom line. Keep them out of the line of fire.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what are the big takeaways for you, for the listener?
I mean, it really hammers home that blending is a choice, a conscious, ongoing effort.
It starts with healing yourself.
Definitely. Then prioritizing the child relentlessly, building respect even when it's hard, with the new partner.
And using those tools. Empathy, gratitude, communication, consistency, consensus.
Yeah. The ultimate goal, the victory, is creating that environment, loving, safe, stable, where the kids feel secure and can just flourish.
Mashonda's final thoughts in the book are pretty moving, seeing her son Kasim as her small hero.
Yeah, the catalyst for her own change, leading to this unexpected, beautiful family structure. Her gratitude for all of it, the connections with all the boys. It's powerful.
There's that line about giving yourself and others permission to fly.
Letting go of the past, embracing what's possible. It's hopeful.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. The book suggests that even the toughest family transitions, those earthquake moments,
They can actually be moments of awakening, sources of unexpected magic.
if you approach them with intention, do the hard self-work, and keep the kids' well-being as your absolute focus, your North Star.
So the question becomes, what steps could you take, inspired by this deep dive, to bring more peace, more connection, a stronger sense of belonging into your own family life, whatever that looks like?